Hi, I'm Emma Gibbons, and I'm the Fundamental Lead at PayPlan. And I'm joined today by Mandy Connor, who is the Director of the local Samaritans branch right here in Grantham. So thank you so much for joining us today, Mandy. Thank you. We just thought we'd get together today to really discuss about what your service users are really feeling at the moment, what they're talking to you about, and to really see whether your service users are disclosing about financial difficulties, to really understand if it's mirroring what we're currently seeing at PayPal. We log at the end of each call the matters that are of concern to our callers, and we've got loads of titles, if you like. But what we are seeing is that finance is a major feature. So, for example, in 2024, we took 160,000 calls about finance or unemployment. That works out about 430 a day. What's interesting about that is that finance itself has shown an increase, if you like, in calls year on year since 2021. And that's the only one of our topics, our headings, that has shown that increase each year. God, that's quite staggering when you really think about it like that. And actually, that really mirrors what we're seeing, because since the cost of living crisis started kind of like a couple of years ago, again, we've seen big increases in the amount of clients accessing our service over the last 18 months in particularly. And certainly in January and February, some weeks we saw in excess of 4,500 clients accessing our service for free debt support and debt advice. So really interesting that you're seeing the same. And we're seeing as well that debt, mental health, they are absolutely intrinsically linked. And 85% of our clients said being in debt had impacted their mental health. Are you seeing similar disclosures, particularly around kind of like suicide rates and suicide ideation? Absolutely. We know from analysis that people in the most deprived areas are twice as likely to commit suicide as those in the least deprived areas. But what we're getting as well is, as you say, a link. Because when you think about it, finance will underpin perhaps your housing, the food you eat, whether you can afford to get to work, whether you can afford to clothe yourself or the children. And if you can't do those things, even one of those things, it impacts on your mental health. It must do. And that's what we're seeing. Oh. And how is that impacting, would you say, as well, on the volunteers that are working on your service, seeing the amount of clients that you are supporting that are struggling with finances and suicidal ideation? Is that having an impact on your volunteers? Volunteers are trained not to take things on board, if you like. I think there's a lot of sympathy for those people, and obviously the issues that people have always affect you in some way. But we're trained at the end of a session, we debrief to someone, and we hope to leave those things in the office. But they're wide enough that people are mentioning it as a topic. Oh. And we've done so much in the wellbeing space as well to protect our own advisors from listening and having those difficult conversations day in, day out, to really ensure that their wellbeing is looked after as well. So it's great that we're on a similar page and doing exactly what you're doing as well in terms of debriefing as well, which is great. So you're the director of the Brampton branch, as we said, but in terms of the support available on a national level from the Samaritans, what does that look like? Explain to us kind of like what that national level is in terms of the approach to supporting people. There's a head office just with paid staff, and they will undertake research. And as we're talking about finance, they've done a lot of research into financial insecurity, so job insecurity, housing insecurity, debt. And as a result of that, and as a result of the link they found to mental health, which you touched on earlier, they have lobbied the government to try and change things, to try and reinforce suicide prevention measures, and to do something about the mental health crisis. On the 7th of February this year, our CEO issued a press statement calling on the government to take action because of this year-on-year increase we've seen with the amount of debt concerns from our callers. At a branch level, we're just out there to support the population. We've got 201 branches, and in fact, I would say last year, in fact, in 2023,
We spoke on the phone for 900,000 hours. That's a lot of calls. Not all about debt, of course, but finance included in those things. And what we do at branch level is we offer some emotional support to people. So people can ring in, they can email us, they can do online chat, and they talk to us about the issues that concern them. And we help them talk those issues through.
That's really interesting. You just mentioned about live chat and email as well, because that is one thing that we found at PayPal, that having those additional communication methods has really helped take away the stigma and the embarrassment around debt and around mental health as well. So we've introduced WhatsApp alongside email, live chat, and also our telephone journey as well. And we're seeing a lot of clients that are interacting with us now over WhatsApp. It's proving to be one of our most popular channels of communication. Not that people should be embarrassed that they're in debt or they're struggling with their mental health, but knowing that there are additional ways to reach out to different services, I think it's really important to talk about that.
I think there's something to be said for saying out loud what your problems are, but a lot of people aren't used to doing it and don't want to do it. So if they can put it in an email or put it in a chat where at least they'll get an instant response, I think a lot of people are far more comfortable using those means of communication. We don't have WhatsApp, and I think it's something very important that we could use going forward. We've got a survey going on at the moment amongst all Samaritan volunteers asking how we future-proof the service. And one of the things we're looking at is the technology that we use and the means of communication that we use.
It's really interesting to hear that. So in terms of what you're doing at branch level, I know that we do a lot of work together. You're going to be supporting us again on the 24th of July for the National 24/7 Day. But what's next for you at branch level? What does the future look like for you?
The branch has been a very well-run branch, and I'm lucky to have inherited that. I've got a fantastic management team, and also the volunteers are very supportive. It's really keeping everybody on board so that we can keep providing the service. And I see quite a large part of my role as a pastoral role. So perhaps going back to the well-being point that you made, making sure that everybody is comfortable in the volunteer roles that they're doing. But we have this future-proofing survey, and it's encouraging people to look at what the future might mean for them while headquarters decide how they're going to streamline the service or how they're going to change the service or whatever they feel they need to do to, I suppose, keep up with the real world in the modern day.
And training for us, so training all our advisors and our employees is really important as well. And I know you've helped us with the training a lot in the past as well with regards to the right kind of conversations to have. And that's so important, isn't it, when you're having those conversations with people that are really maybe struggling with their mental health in terms of how to position things, how to say things. So what kind of training do your volunteers go through?
When you become a Samaritan, you have to do 5 weeks of face-to-face training, and that has to be consecutive. So if you know the training dates and you're not available, you don't do them. You come back when you can do your 5 consecutive weeks. Hand in hand with that, there's online training, so digital topics, but also some training done over Zoom. Once you're comfortable with that and you've completed all those topics, there's skills practice, we call it. So someone taking the role of a caller and a new Samaritan acting out how they would react. When they finally go into the ops room, so where the calls are live, they're with a mentor, and they're with that mentor for a minimum of 6 weeks. The first week, all they do is listen to the calls. Thereafter, they can move at their own pace until they're ready to take the calls, and the mentor thinks they can be left on their own. So it's very intense. But the point is then, having trained as a Samaritan, the next key thing is consistency. We want those people in the ops room every week, because it's only by staying in touch with your fellow Samaritans, keeping up to date with what's going on the phones, that we really think that you're using your skills to the best of your ability. So a Samaritan isn't someone who's been through the training. It's someone who's been through the training and continues to do a regular shift at Grantham. We ask for once a week.
So we briefly mentioned 24th of July, so 24/7 a little earlier, but our listeners might not really know or understand what the significance of that particular date. Would you mind just explain exactly what that means to you at Samaritans and what you're trying to achieve with that date?
Samaritans are very proud to say they're one of the helplines that's open 24/7. So we use the 24th of July to publicise that fact. We also use that day to try and raise funds. So we ask anybody who can support us to do something for 24 hours. You might be going without something, such as your smartphone, such as chocolate, such as coffee, or it might be doing something active, perhaps walking for 24 hours with friends, or perhaps having a TV watching session for 24 hours. Anything that can raise awareness of Samaritans and raise funds for us so that we continue to provide that 24/7 support to our callers.
Amazing. I know we'll be doing something again at Pay Plan this year. Last year we did the walk, so we're actually something a bit different this year. And if somebody is listening to this today and thinks, do you know what? Samaritans are amazing and they've helped me so much personally. What can somebody do if they want to volunteer to help at your organisation? How can they contact you? What do they need to do?
We've got a homepage at samaritans.org, and that will tell you really everything you want to know about Samaritans, statistics of what we do, but also how to volunteer, how to get involved. It's not just by being a listener, but by supporting us in other ways. So that website will give all kinds of ideas as to how people can support, whether it's by becoming a volunteer or whether it's by doing other things for us.
So we're coming to the end of the podcast today. So I think it's really important that the listeners understand exactly how they can contact both of our services. So at PayPlan, we're that free debt advice organisation that people can reach out to get free debt advice. And we can be contacted over a free phone telephone number, which is 0800 072 1206. But also we have lots of digital communication methods in place as well. So first and foremost is the website, and then live chat and WhatsApp as well. But how about the Samaritans? How can people contact you?
There's 24/7 contact available by our free phone number. That's 116123. Email's also available, but obviously the response isn't going to be instant. And we also have in the evenings an online chat service. But if there's any difficulty, Samaritans.org will tell you exactly how to contact Samaritans.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure as always to talk to you today, Mandy. So thank you so much for taking your time out, talking just a little bit more about the amazing roles that Samaritans do. And yeah, just thank you for all the support you give us at PayPlan. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks to all of you at PayPlan for the support you give us.
Thank you.